top 10 teams in the NBA right now. For starters, number 10, we got the Dallas Mavericks. Now, the Dallas Mavericks have made a move of trading Porzingis to the Washington for a couple pieces like Dinwiddie, which in fact could benefit the Dallas Mavericks, giving their team more depth, but the team is just Luka Doncic. They don't got a single guy who can average 20 points a game on that squad, and I think Dallas has failed for another year of putting a championship squad around Luka Doncic, but I think it was a wise move finally moving on from Porzingis, who has showed to be an unreliable player and injury prone. Now, this is very good for them because they could finally look for a second and third option going forward for the Dallas Mavericks and Luka Doncic, who deserves more, but hasn't been able to take that next step in his career, having playoff success. In the playoffs, we've seen him get bounced out in the first round by the Clippers. Now, what I hope is that the Dallas Mavericks can finally make that step forward, but with the roster they got now, I don't believe so, and I think we're going to see history repeat itself and the Dallas Mavericks will be knocked out in the first round. Now, for number 9, I got the Cavaliers. You know what I'm saying? The Cleveland Cavaliers. I really wanted to put them higher up on this list because I think this team has extreme potential of making it to the finals. Yes, I said it. The finals. Well, the thing about Cleveland is they got a record of 36 wins and 25 losses, and they've played a lot of these games without any guards. Cleveland Cavaliers have 4 guards that have been out for like the past week or 2, and those guards are Darius Garland, who was an all-star this year, Rajon Rondo, a veteran who has championship experience, multiple championship runs as well, and then Caris LeVert, a guy they just traded for in the trade deadline. And not only that, Colin Sexton, who is a scoring machine. So you got 4 guards that are out for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and they're still managing to get many wins that they shouldn't be getting with an undrafted guy named Brandon Goodwin, who has been playing okay, but that has been our only guard at times that is healthy. Now, Cedi Osman does fill in that role of guard, but he really isn't a guard. Now, the Cleveland Cavaliers, when healthy, has the potential, in my opinion, to reach the finals. They have a really good team and play good against bigs. And to be honest, these championship teams from the East are built out of a big. You've got Joel Embiid and Giannis, and then Kevin Durant, who could easily be guarded by Markkanen, Evan Mobley, or Jared Allen. So I think the Cavaliers have extreme potential, and if you think otherwise, shut up. Now, anyways, number 8, I know this is going to be kind of a surprise, but I got the Chicago Bulls. The thing about Chicago is that they've also been an unhealthy team. But you've got kind of a record that's extremely high, right? And you'd think, well, the Chicago Bulls are really good this year. But if you look at the 7 teams in front of them, I couldn't see the Chicago Bulls beating them in a 7-game series. I do think DeRozan has been exceptional this year, and Zach LaVine as well. And Lonzo Ball fell with an injury, but they do got Vucevic and Kobe White. And Kobe White is a guy who's been inconsistent this year. I know this because I try to bet over and under on him, and he's always failing me. But the Bulls are a good team, but I do not see them getting to the second round. I think they'll be a first-round exit. I'm sorry, Bulls fans. Number 7, we got the Utah Jazz with 38 wins and 22 losses. This is a team that I think is really underrated and could make a run in the playoffs all the way to the finals. But the West is really stacked. And now Utah, they are led by Donovan Mitchell, who's a great player, and they got Rudy Gobert, their defensive guy. And I think this team has the potential of making it to the finals. I've always picked them to get out of the conference to the finals, but they failed me a lot, so I wouldn't be too keen on them this year because they're basically the same roster except no Joe Ingles, and they added other people. But the Utah Jazz have the potential of either second round or championship, and I think they're a really solid team, and when it comes to the playoffs, it'll be really interesting seeing this team. Now, for number 6, we got the Miami Heat. Yes, I know, they're the best team in the East to many people with the best record, but I'm not sold on them. They don't have a A1 superstar to lead this team. Jimmy Butler's a good second option in my eyes. And then they got Bam, another good second option. And they got a couple young shooters like Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, and a veteran guard in Kyle Lowry. Now this team also has PJ Tucker, the most underrated defender in the league in my opinion. He's a championship piece. But this team is filled with championship pieces, and they just need that A1 superstar. And that's what I think will be the difference between them winning a chip and not winning a chip. In a 7-game series, I could easily see them fall to teams like Milwaukee, Brooklyn, 76ers. But their record is really respectable, so I had to put them higher than I wanted to in this list. So they're going to be number 6. Number 5. The 76ers, who just traded for James Harden, an MVP caliber player. And these past couple games, he's looked phenomenal with him and Joel Embiid. But the thing is, I don't know what James Harden we will see in the playoffs. That's why they're not in the top 3. James Harden has this tendency in the playoffs to just diminish. And that is the thing that I don't really have much trust in him in the playoffs. After being up 3-2 against the Warriors and choking and losing in 7, I haven't had any confidence in James Harden in the playoffs. That's why last year I was completely right with the Brooklyn Nets losing to Milwaukee, saying that they weren't going to be able to make it to the finals because you can't rely on Kyrie and James Harden, but you know KD will deliver, and the Milwaukee team was just all-rounded. Now, I do think the 76ers do have the potential to win it all because they're not only going to rely on James Harden, they have Joel Embiid, the best center in the league and potentially the MVP this year. So I think if Joel Embiid could take over in the playoffs, James Harden might be able to slack off like he usually does, and they could still manage to win the championship. But now for number 4, the Milwaukee Bucks. They haven't gotten the respect that they deserve. Many people have been slagging them, saying that they're not as good, but Milwaukee is still a very good squad. They got guys like Bobby Portis he doesn't come off the bench anymore, but you got Giannis, Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton. These guys are buckets and play defense. That's the thing about them. Their stars play defense and then offense, and they're really good at both, and they're really complicated to beat. And in a 7-game series, it's really hard to beat them, and I think they could easily two-peat, but you never know. If I had to bet money on it, I think Milwaukee gets out of the East, but I don't know if they'll win the championship. Now, for number 3, this was really tough for 3 and 2. I have the Warriors. The Warriors have Klay Thompson, who's been in and out of the lineup, and Steph Curry, Draymond Green, all these guys, but they've been struggling with injuries. They're a really deep team, though. If this team is healthy for the playoffs, I think they have a really strong chance of winning the chip, but I couldn't rely on that. Not because Klay Thompson is injury prone, but he just came off like a 2-year injury time, and I'm not going to have all my faith on Klay Thompson to stay healthy the whole time. So I think next year they'll be better, but this year they could easily win the championship or be a first-round exit. Yeah, that's the floor for them. First rounder or they win the championship. It's going to be around that. But for number 2, I got the Memphis Grizzlies. These guys have been on fire with Ja Morant just scoring 52 last night. This team is looking really good, and Ja Morant has came. He has came hard, man. And this guy is ready just to win the championship, it looks like. But the Memphis Grizzlies don't really have playoff experience, and that could really damage them in the playoffs. But championship experience seems to be overrated to a lot of people, but we're going to see what Memphis is all about in the playoffs. They could easily get first rounded, or they could easily make it to the finals. I don't think they'll win the chip though, but they will make it deep because you really need to lose in the playoffs to know what it takes to win. So I think Memphis will have a nice little learning experience this year, and next year they're going to be a championship threat. Now for number 1, I really didn't want to say the Phoenix Suns, but they only have 12 losses, so you got to say the Suns. So the Suns are the number 1 team in the NBA with 49 wins and 12 losses. They still have the potential of getting the best record ever. If they win out, I doubt it. They just lost to the Jazz, and I think they'll lose like maybe 4 or 5 games, but they'll get the first seed. Now they are on a revenge tour after basically losing the last 4 games last year in the finals. They want revenge, and they want a championship. Chris Paul is out, though, for around 6 weeks. So that is going to put a lot of pressure on Devin Booker to lead these guys to the first seed and see if they can win the championship and if Chris Paul can come back in time for this championship run. But I think if Chris Paul can come back, Devin Booker's on his stuff, DeAndre Ayton grows into a better big man because last year he did get exposed by Giannis. I think they could easily win the championship, or they'll be losing in the conference finals. Now, the Suns, they're a really good team. They're really deep, but I really hope they do make it far because they're a really entertaining team, and I like rooting against them sometimes. But they're really good, and Devin Booker's surprising a lot of people, and maybe next year he can be an MVP caliber player. We'll see, but the Suns for now are the number one team. You can't argue it. I'm sorry. But anyways, leave a comment down below who you think is going to win the championship this year, and please like and subscribe for more, and thank you for watching.